Well, first thing is you mentioned that you put everybody over out at shortstop, whether it's a primary third baseman or a primary second baseman, and that becomes quickly obvious even without looking at the program who belongs where. And of course, it's part of our job as scouts when we're evaluating a player's tools to make a judgment on what his best infield position is. And of course, you'll see, oftentimes a young man who doesn't have the foot quickness to play shortstop, well, he's a third baseman. You see a young man who really can't get that carry on his throws, and it's okay, that young man's a future at second base. But with infielders in general, you're looking at, again, athleticism, how a player moves through the ball. If you see a player in infield who's staying back on his heels and not moving through the ball, that's an indicator that maybe this young man is not a shortstop prospect. When you see that athlete who moves through the ball and stays balanced, has his feet balanced underneath him, when your feet are balanced, you're going to have good hands. We talk about soft hands a lot, but soft hands are often a function of what happens at your feet. If you're balanced at the ball, your hands are going to be much softer than if you're leaning off balance one way or another, you're on your heels, your lower half really helps your hands. And of course, release, how quickly you get the ball and easily you get the ball from the glove to hand, and arm strength. We know that arm strength is one of the most important tools at shortstop, and we like to see that arm strength in game actions. One thing we look at in infield drills is if the player's making game throws. If the player is staying there with a crow hop and a long release, that's not game actions. What we really like to see in scouts during the infield drills is a player who's using game actions, get the ball, throw it just as if it was a game. And if you're watching carefully, you see what the radar gun tells you, and that's just a part of how to measure arm strength. You also have to take it in context of how the player was throwing the ball. So it really becomes a whole package from moving through the ball, balance, hands, exchange, arm strength, and we're grading out all that really in 5 ground balls.